a lot of people say that aging is a disease, and but with the concepts of intervention from longevity and various preemptive measures that you will be talking about in the conversation, do you think the aging is a treatable disease, or is it a disease at all? How can we reverse it, and within our lifetime, maybe in the next 30, 40 years, do you think we can live forever or as long as possible?
I think our understanding of aging has fundamentally shifted over the last 15 to 20 years. We accepted a position that frailty was a natural part of growing older, and disease accumulation associated with that frailty was part of becoming older and older. But what we're now beginning to appreciate is that interventions done earlier on in life can alter that trajectory or that arc of how fast you decline, so the rate of decline or the rate of frailty. And that means that an individual in their 60s or 70s doesn't need to have the same degree of ill health as they are today. And I love doing this. Whenever I get in front of an audience that's conducive to it, I often ask them, who here would like to live to 60, 70, 80, 90, 100? And you see hands starting to drop down. And then you ask them, well, why did you say that? And often you hear, well, stories of a frail parent, someone that they've looked after. And then you start to introduce this idea, well, you can disassociate frailty with old age. Old age is a chronological number, which is physically the number of years you live. But the biology of your cells can be disassociated from that, right? So this idea of disassociating your biological age with your chronological age are two very important facets. And we can talk a little bit because there are now tests. And I do this every quarter. I just did my blood test yesterday, in fact, for measuring your biological age. So how old are your cells versus how many birthdays you've celebrated since you've been born. So that's one piece. The other piece is we've begun to understand what aging really means. And it's not just one thing. There are now considered by the scientific community 12 hallmarks of aging. I won't be able to remember all of them, but roughly speaking, protein synthesis is disrupted, senescent cells begin to build up, there's an accumulation of toxins and degenerative parts of the cell, the telomeres on the chromosomes begin to shorten, DNA replication begins to become less efficient, etc., etc. Mitochondrial capabilities begin to decline. So there are 12 hallmarks of aging, i.e. 12 cellular systems, all interconnected, begin to decline as you get older. And so as newer therapies and targets start to identify these particular pathways, there's no reason to imagine a world 20, 30, 40, 50 years perhaps from now, where in exactly the same way as our cars go in for servicing every year, we have the ability to have our bodies go in for servicing, identifying deficits in those different pathways, and then optimizing it. And for people who are really excited or interested in this space, I'm not sure when this episode is going to be aired, but yesterday, on the 30th of November, the X Prize Foundation announced its newest X Prize, the largest ever in its history, $101 million, supported by the Evolution Foundation, which is supported by the Saudi government. And this one is for longevity. So over the course of 7 years, there is a competition for any team or teams from around the world to come up with an intervention which will reduce biological age by or extend health span by 10 years. And there's $101 million at stake for it.